1. Introduction. My name is Alara. I am in my late 20s. I own a small bookstore called The Last Chapter. This store is very important to me. My grandmother gave it to me before she passed away. For me, the bookstore is more than just a business. It is my sanctuary, a safe and quiet place. It is old, but it feels warm and welcoming. It is full of many stories, both in its books and in its history. People in my neighborhood love The Last Chapter. They come here to read, to talk, and to feel part of something special. But even with their love, the store has many money problems. It is a struggle every day to keep its doors open. Still, I try my best. Every morning, I wake up early. I walk to the store, unlock the old wooden door, and breathe in the smell of paper and old books. This smell makes me feel calm. It tells me that I belong here, that this is my place in the world. Then, one day, everything changed. A man walked into the shop. He wore an expensive, dark suit. His name was Damien. He was a billionaire. He had cold, sharp eyes, but he was very handsome. His presence filled the small space. He was a powerful man. He wanted to buy my street. His plan was to build new, expensive homes and shops. He wanted to change everything. He walked closer to me. His voice was smooth and strong as he spoke. He said he needed to buy my bookstore. He explained that the last chapter was in the way of his big plans. He demanded that I sell it to him. But I looked at him and felt a strong refusal inside me. I told him no, I would not sell my grandmother's store. His eyes narrowed slightly. He did not expect me to say no. From that first moment, a strong feeling of dislike grew between us. We became enemies. He wanted to take what was mine. I wanted to protect it with all my strength. The quiet peace of my bookstore was gone. A new, difficult chapter had begun. I knew this fight would be hard, but I was ready to stand for the last chapter. 2. The daily fights. Damien came back to the last chapter the next day. He came again after that, and the day after that. He always wanted to talk about buying my bookstore. He wanted to buy the whole street for his big plans, but I did not listen to him. I said no every time. We had daily fights about the store. I was not alone in this fight. The people in my neighborhood stood with me. They loved the last chapter. They said it was the heart of our street. They came to the store often. They told Damien to leave my bookstore alone. Some people made signs. The signs said, "The last chapter is staying." My neighbors helped me. They wrote letters to Damien. They showed him that we were strong together. But Damien did not stop. He was a very strong man, and he was used to getting what he wanted. He made new offers. He sent more letters to me. He sent lawyers to my door. They all talked about money, but I did not want money. I wanted my grandmother's store. I felt very angry at Damien. He wanted to take away my home and my history. He wanted to change our quiet street. However, sometimes I felt a strange thing. It was a feeling I did not want. When Damien walked into the bookstore, my heart beat faster. His blue eyes were sharp. When he looked at me, it felt like he could see inside me. It felt like he saw my secrets. I tried to hide this feeling. I tried to look strong and angry. I knew Damien was a powerful man. He made many big business decisions. People said he was cold. They said he hurt other people with his plans. So I told myself I could not trust him. I must be careful. But then, sometimes I saw a small change in him. One afternoon, he stood near the old shelves. He looked at the books. For a very short moment, his face was not cold. There was a small, soft light in his eyes. It was like he saw something beautiful, something quiet and old. It was a fast moment. Then his face was cold again. I did not understand this. Was he truly a cold man with no feelings, or was there another side to Damien? A side he kept hidden. We were still in conflict. We fought every day. He wanted to buy my store. I wanted to keep it. We did not understand each other. He saw money and new buildings. I saw stories and old friends. Our talks were always difficult. We spoke different languages, even with the same words. He thought I was just a woman with a small shop. I thought he was just a rich man who only cared about power. But that small light in his eyes sometimes made me think. It made me wonder about him. Was he truly my enemy, or was there more to Damien than I knew? The fights continued day after day. 3. A night in the dark. One night, Alara and Damien met again in the last chapter. It was late, and the street outside was quiet. Damien had come to talk about buying the bookstore one more time. He said it was his last offer before stronger legal actions. Alara told him again that she would never sell. They began to argue, walking between the tall shelves filled with old books. The soft, golden lights of the store shone on the spines of countless stories. Their voices were tense, full of their usual disagreement. Suddenly, the lights flickered and then went out completely. The whole bookstore became very dark. Alara could not see Damien, and a small feeling of fear came over her. The silence felt heavy after their loud words, but Damien stayed calm. In the deep darkness, his voice sounded different, softer than before. They both sat down on the cold floor, waiting for the power to return. For the first time since they met, there was no fighting between them. The darkness seemed to quiet their anger. In the quiet, Alara started to speak. She talked about her grandmother, who had owned the bookstore before her. Her grandmother loved books and people very much. She had made the last chapter a special place for everyone. Alara explained how children from the nearby school came there to read new stories and draw pictures. She told Damien how older, lonely people often came for a cup of warm tea and a friendly chat. The bookstore was more than just a shop. It was a heart for their small street, a place where everyone felt welcome and safe. Damien listened carefully. He did not interrupt. After Alara finished, he spoke, and his words were surprising. He told her that when he was a young boy, he had a secret dream. He wanted to be an architect. He loved old buildings, their history, and their unique designs. He dreamed of saving them, of giving them new life, not tearing them down. But his father, a powerful businessman, wanted Damien to follow his path. So Damien put his own dream away and chose a different life. When he spoke about this, his voice seemed to break a little, showing a deep sadness. In the darkness, Alara saw a new side of Damien. It was a side she had never seen before. He was not the cold, sharp billionaire she knew. He was quiet, and he seemed hurt. He was just a human being with a lost dream. This shared moment in the dark, without light or anger, made them see each other in a different way. It was a night when their usual conflict stopped, and something else, something softer, began to grow between them. 4. Our secret moments. After that special night, many things changed between Alara and Damien. In front of other people, they still acted like big enemies. They would argue loudly in the bookstore. Their faces showed anger, and they looked like they truly disliked each other. People in the neighborhood still believed they were fighting. But when they were alone, away from everyone's eyes, their actions were very different. They became private friends. They started to have secret conversations. They talked about many things, not just business. Sometimes they would even laugh together softly. They felt a new kind of closeness. This feeling was just for them. This secret relationship felt dangerous. It was like walking on a thin rope, but it also felt very exciting for Alara. She felt more alive than ever when she was with Damien. She believed Damien felt something similar. However, he always looked a little worried. It was clear he was afraid to show his true feelings. His past life had made him a cold person. He thought that showing love or kindness was a weakness. He did not want to appear weak to anyone. Even with his worries, Damien would find small ways to show his affection. He would gently touch Alara's hand for a moment when no one was watching them. These touches were quick, but they meant a lot. Sometimes Damien would come to the last chapter late at night. He would not come to talk about buying the store. Instead, he would help Alara with small tasks. He fixed broken shelves. He helped her move heavy boxes of books. They would share hidden smiles full of meaning during these quiet times. But every single moment they spent together made their secret feel heavier. Alara knew in her heart that the people in her neighborhood would never understand. They still thought Damien was the enemy. They believed he wanted to destroy their beloved bookstore and change their entire street. If they ever found out the truth about Alara and Damien's secret connection, they would surely think Alara had betrayed them. This thought made her feel very guilty. She cared deeply about her community. She did not want to hurt them or make them feel sad. Yet, she found herself wanting to spend more and more time with Damien. Their private talks and hidden moments became very important to her heart. She often waited for his secret visits, wanting to learn more about the man who was both her public enemy and her private, secret friend. 5. The secret love. Our secret became harder to keep hidden. Every day, our feelings for each other grew stronger. We still acted like enemies in public. But in private, our hearts were close. One evening, Damien came to the bookstore after closing time. He found me in the back room, putting books away. He walked to me and gently held my hand. His touch sent a warm feeling through me. He looked into my eyes, and I could see many emotions there. His face was serious, but his eyes were soft. He told me he had never felt this way about anyone before. His voice was quiet, almost a whisper. I felt my own heart beat faster. I liked being with him, but I was also afraid. I told him my fears. I said his world was so different from mine. His world had big buildings, many people, and a lot of money. My world was small, with old books, quiet corners, and a warm community. I worried he could hurt the bookstore, or even me. I worried he could change everything I loved. Damien listened carefully. Then he said something important. He said he was trying to change. He told me he no longer wanted to destroy my bookstore. He said he wanted to protect it. He understood now how special it was. He understood it was more than just a building. He saw it as a home for stories and people. I wanted to believe him with all my heart. A part of me did believe him, but another part of me was still scared. Could a man from his world truly fit into mine? Could I truly fit into his? We came from two very different places, but we could not stay away from each other. Our secret moments felt more important than ever. We met often, talking for hours. We learned more about each other every day. We shared dreams and fears. It felt like a beautiful dream, but it was also very real. However, outside our secret world, things were changing. People in the neighborhood started to notice things. They were good people, but they were also curious. They saw Damien's expensive car near the shop late at night. Sometimes they saw him leave the store early in the morning. They saw the way he looked at me when he pretended to be angry during the day. His eyes held a secret warmth that was hard to hide. Small questions turned into quiet talks. Quiet talks turned into whispers. Whispers turned into rumors. I heard people talking when I walked past the bakery. I heard them near the park. They wondered why Damien, the enemy, was often near the last chapter. They wondered why Alara, seemed less angry with him sometimes. I felt nervous all the time. My stomach felt tight. I did not want to betray my neighbors. I did not want them to think badly of me. Damien also felt the pressure. He became more careful, more guarded. He tried harder to hide his feelings in public. But our love was like a fire. It was beautiful and bright, but it was also dangerous. It grew bigger every day, and it was getting harder to keep it a secret. 6. A difficult choice. One day, a big newspaper printed a story. It said Damien was still trying to buy my bookstore. It said he wanted to destroy our street. People read the newspaper and became very angry. They talked loudly. They said Damien was a bad man. They thought I was fighting him alone. They did not know our secret. They did not know Damien was the man I loved in private. I felt sad because of their anger. Damien saw my face. He told me he would fix it, but I saw deep worry in his eyes. He was scared for me. He was afraid that if people knew about our love, they would attack me. He did not want me to be in danger. Then Damien made a big decision. He told me he would stop his project. He would not build new homes on our street. He would tell his company to end everything. He chose my bookstore. He chose me. He chose our small world over his big world of money. I felt happy he chose us, but also scared for him. He went to tell his business partners. They were important people with big plans. When Damien told them, they became very angry. Their faces turned red. They shouted at him. They said he was weak. They said he was changing because of me. They thought I was a bad influence. Damien was caught in the middle. He was like a man standing on two different boats, and the boats were moving apart. One boat was his old life, full of business. The other boat was our life, full of books and quiet love. His partners did not understand. They only saw his plans failing. I watched him. He looked tired and sad. I felt a heavy guilt in my heart. I felt responsible for his problems. I felt like I was pulling him into a big, dangerous storm. My love for him was causing him trouble. This choice was not easy for him. It was not easy for us. Our secret love put him in a very difficult place. He had to choose, and his choice had big results. I hoped he would be okay. I hoped we would be okay. 7. The truth comes out. One dark night, a man secretly watched Damien and Alara. This man was a business rival of Damien. He followed Damien to the last chapter. He saw them together, sharing a quiet moment. He quickly took photos. The next morning, pictures and words about Alara and Damien were everywhere. The secret love between them was now public. Everyone in the neighborhood saw it. The news spread fast, like fire in dry grass. The people in the neighborhood felt very shocked. They felt angry. They felt betrayed. For a long time, they believed Alara was fighting Damien alone. They thought Damien was their enemy. Now, they saw Alara with him. They believed Alara had lied to them. They thought she had given up her grandmother's beloved bookstore for a rich man. They thought Damien had used her to get the street. Friends who once stood with Alara now looked at her with cold eyes. They turned their backs when she walked by. The last chapter, once a place full of life and laughter, became silent. Children stopped coming after school. Old friends did not sit for tea anymore. The shelves were still full of books, but the store felt empty. Ilara sat alone among the stories. The sound of silence was loud. Her heart felt heavy. The place she loved, her sanctuary, was now a place of sadness. It felt like the community had left her. Damien tried to protect Ilara. He spoke to people. He tried to explain. But the scandal was big. It hurt his company. His business partners were very angry. They told him he must make a choice. He had to choose between Ilara, the woman he loved, and his career. This choice was impossible for him. Ilara saw the pain in his eyes. Her own heart broke. She did not want him to lose everything. He had worked hard. He had already lost many things in his life. She knew his career was important to him. But Ilara also knew she could not leave the last chapter. It was not just a shop. It was her home. It was her family's history. It was a part of her soul. She felt trapped. She felt alone. The love that had felt so exciting now brought only pain. She was isolated from her community. Damien was isolated from his world. The truth had come out, but it had broken more than it fixed. Ilara felt lost, standing in the quiet bookstore with no one to turn to. 8. A new beginning. Damien decided to be very brave. He called a big public meeting with all the people from the neighborhood. Many residents came, filling the small community hall. He stood firmly in front of everyone, looking at each familiar face. His voice was steady and clear, but also warm and honest. He looked at me, then back at the people. He said, "I love Ilara. I chose the bookstore and this street." He explained that he chose them because he now truly understood what a real home means. He promised to protect the street and its unique character. He would not change it just for money. Instead, he wanted to help it grow and become better, not destroy its heart. The people in the hall were very quiet. They listened to every word he spoke. They watched him closely, trying to understand. For the first time, they saw a new side of him. They saw the real man, not just the rich businessman they knew. They saw his true, kind heart. I stood next to Damien, feeling strong. My hand found his, and we held it tight. I knew we could not hide our love anymore. It was time for the complete truth. Our love was real. It was not perfect. No love is. It had many problems and mistakes. It was loud and messy sometimes, but it was also very true and strong. We had learned many important lessons together. Slowly, the neighborhood started to understand and accept us. They began to forgive us, seeing that Damien was sincere in his promises. The bookstore, the last chapter, became a happy place again. It was safe for everyone, full of laughter, new books, and old stories. Damien often came to the shop. He helped with organizing books and talking to customers. The children liked him now. They smiled and talked to him about their favorite stories. I watched him walk among the old books and shelves. He looked happy and calm. He looked like the man he always wanted to be, an architect of community, not just tall buildings. He was still a very rich man. I was still the woman who owned a small, beloved bookstore. But now we were truly together. We were not enemies anymore. We were not hiding our feelings. We were lovers who showed the truth to everyone. This was a new start for us. A new start for the street and its wonderful people. A new start for our love, strong and open. We built something new together. We built a future where the bookstore was safe and where our love was open for all to see.